Good morning. It's Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's my birthday. That's a holiday that I love to talk about because in my youth, I was known as El Gato, the cat. Because whether you want to believe it or not, I was looked upon as a very cool person, and I was very proud of that. So today is Cinco de Mayo, or the 5th of May, a holiday that celebrates the date of the Mexican Army's May 5th, 1862 victory over France at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-American War. The day, which falls on Monday, May 5th in 2025, is also known as the Battle of Puebla Day. There's something strange about this day. It is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, but in the United States, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into the commemoration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with large Mexican-American population. It's not a Mexican Independence Day, which is a popular misconception. Instead, it commemorates the single battle in 1861. Benito Juarez, a lawyer and member of the indigenous Zapotec tribe, was elected president of Mexico. At the time, the country was in financial ruin after years of internal strife, and the new president was forced to default on debt payments to European governments. In response to that, France, Britain, and Spain sent naval forces to Veracruz, Mexico, demanding repayment. Britain and Spain negotiated with Mexico and withdrew their forces, but France, ruled by Napoleon III, decided to use the opportunity to carve out an empire of Mexican territory. So late in 1861, a well-armed French fleet attacked Veracruz, sending President Juarez and his government into retreat. But then, certain that success would come swiftly, 6,000 French troops under General Charles Loutrel de Lorraine set out to attack Puebla de Los Angeles, a small town in east central Mexico. And from its new headquarters in the north, Juarez rounded up a ragtag force of 2,000 loyal men, many of them either indigenous Mexicans or of mixed ancestry, and sent them to Puebla. The vastly outnumbered and poorly supplied Mexicans, led by the Texas-born General Ignacio Zaragoza, fortified the town and prepared for the French assault. And on May 2nd, 1862, Lorentz gathered his army supported by heavy artillery before the city of Puebla and launched an assault. The battle lasted from daybreak to early evening, and when the French finally retreated, they had lost nearly 500 soldiers. Fewer than 100 Mexicans had been killed in the clash. So this was not a major strategic win in the overall war against the French. Zaragaza's success at the Battle of Puebla on May 5 represented a great symbolic victory for the Mexican government and bolstered the resistance movement. In 1867, thanks in part to military support and political pressure from the United States, which was finally in position to aid its besieged neighbor after the end of our Civil War, France finally quit. And that same year, Austrian Archduke Ferdinand Maximilian, who had been installed as Emperor of Mexico in 1864 by Napoleon, was captured and executed by Juarez's forces. And Puebla de los Angeles was renamed for General Zaragoza, who died of typhoid fever months after his historic triumph there. So now Cinco de Mayo in Mexico is primarily observed in the state of Puebla, where Zaragoza's unlikely victory occurred, although other parts of the country also take part in the celebration. So now there are military parades and other recreations of the battle that went on. For many Mexicans, however, May 5th is a day like any other. It is not a federal holiday, so offices, banks, and stores remain open. Why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo in the United States and not in Mexico? In the United States, Cinco de Mayo is widely interpreted as a celebration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with substantial Mexican-American population. Today, those people who choose to celebrate mark the occasion with parades, parties, mariachi music, Mexican folk dancing, and traditional food such as tacos and mole poblano. Some of the largest festivals are held in Los Angeles and Chicago and Houston. And many confuse this day with Mexican Independence Day. And that's a big mistake because Cinco de Mayo is a celebration of Mexican independence, which was declared more than 50 years before the Battle of Puebla. Those are the facts. And I hope that you find a spot somewhere where you can celebrate a little bit of Cinco de Mayo. Have some great Mexican food. Enjoy the day with your family. Take care. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you.